Written by Reddit user Only Posts Horror. The house was nestled 3 miles off a mountain highway in Washington state, a rundown-looking cabin at the end of a dirt road, surrounded by fir trees and covered in moss. An early morning fog meant I didn't see the peeling paint and wooden beams until I was practically on top of them. The father was waiting for me on the porch. I checked my badge before I got out of the truck. It wouldn't do to forget what county I was pretending to be a deputy for. "Morning, sir. Deputy Smith, Whatcom County Sheriff's Office. Nice to meet you." The father's answering handshake was more of a pull as he practically yanked me onto the porch. I could smell the alcohol in his breath from here. "Took you guys long enough. I've got him locked in his bedroom, but I don't know how much longer." The father trailed off, a 1,000-yard stare boring through me for a second before he regained his thoughts. "Look, I feel terrible for calling you on my own son. Please be gentle with him. I think something's not right. I clasped the man's shoulder for reassurance. It wouldn't do to have him panicking. "Don't worry at all, sir. I got into quite a bit of trouble myself when I was his age. The important thing right now is for you to be calm and answer my questions so he can get the help he needs. Everything's gonna be fine. You got me?" The man took a deep breath before responding. I noticed the massive bags under his eyes. This must have been going on for days before he called. Yeah, okay, go for it." "Thank you, sir. Now, on the phone, you said that your son had been refusing to talk and had attacked you. Is that correct?" The man visibly flinched at the word attacked. "Yes, he hadn't been talking for a few days. He was eating like crazy, but not talking. Then last night I woke up and he was standing over me with the wood axe. His whole body was shaking. I remember his skin shifting around like he was trying to swing but couldn't. I grabbed the axe and put him in his room. He didn't say a word, didn't cry. Mary would have known what to do. She always understood him more than me. If she were still here, I could have..." The father was shaking now, tears starting to roll down wrinkled cheeks. I sat him down on the edge of the porch and gave him another reassuring squeeze. I can't stand when people get emotional about this stuff. Hey, it's all right. You did the right thing calling. I'd have been scared too. And your son hasn't left the room?" No noise either. Just quiet." "Well, better than him breaking down the door and chopping off your head, right?" The father didn't think my joke was funny. I cleared my throat and continued. "How long has it been since he stopped talking?" 2 weeks now. Figured he was probably just tired, or maybe Mary's passing finally got to him. I should have been paying more attention. Do you remember anything unusual 2 weeks ago? Any big events or changes to routine?" The man thought for a second, then responded hesitantly. "We took a trip over to the national park. We cut down some firewood from these black trees. I've gone back over since then for more. The wood burns really well, even when it's wet. Look, I know it's illegal to log there, and you can fine me or whatever, but..." I interrupted with a short laugh. My suspicions had been confirmed. "Do I look like one of those hippies from the Park Service? You've got to heat your house somehow, right? But real talk now, why? You've got plenty of trees right here." "It was a guy in town. I was at the bar and heard him talking about firewood. Said he had found the best stuff." I shot him a look and he stopped immediately. "A guy? Like a bit over 6 foot, cleanly shaven, curly black hair, kinda twitchy, talked weird?" "That's him." "Wait, is he some kind of criminal?" "Not technically," I admitted. "Sorry, bit of a sidetrack there. I just wanted to make sure I had all the facts." I turned and started through the door. "One last question. These trees, they were thin, strong, and didn't have branches, right?" kind of like hairs, like there was something really big and hairy buried under the ground. Yeah, that's right. Wait, did the trees do something to my son? I don't see how firewood could do anything like that. I'm not really supposed to talk about it, but I've seen this happen before. We think it's a disease in the wood, affects children more than adults, easily treatable, fortunately. I'm going to restrain your son and drive you both to the hospital. Is there anything you need to grab from the house? The man looked confused for a moment, then relief set in. Thank God. Yeah, let me grab some food. The man brushed past me into the cabin and started rummaging in the kitchen cabinets. You won't hurt him, right? Not at all. Just going to cuff him to make sure he doesn't do anything to hurt you or himself. It'll just take a second. I followed the father's direction across the cabin to a bedroom door, decorated with a crayon drawing of the solar system. To be honest, I wanted to just settle this right now, but protocol required a visual confirmation. I slipped into the room, shut the door, and locked it as fast as possible. By the time I got the spray out of its holster and turned back to the bed, the son was already bending his knees to jump at me. Not a stupid one, this one. The spray caught the boy mid-air. On one this small, the paralyzing effect was almost instant. I dropped the spray and caught the boy, laying it back on the bed as quietly as I could. I pulled my flashlight, lifted an eyelid, and looked closely. A single, segmented black leg thrashed madly at the edge of the pupil, struggling to break the outer layer of the eye. Confirmed infestation, then, I muttered. This one would almost be entirely eaten, the spawn within ready to burst out within a week. Unfortunately, that meant the father was infested too. I threw open the bedroom door and sprayed him before he could turn around from the kitchen counter. Then grabbed the gas can from the truck. I made sure to turn on the stove burners and spread a few of the empty bottles around before I lit the gas. Drunken cooking accidents never got looked at too hard. I had a seat on the woodpile while I waited to make sure nothing crawled out of the blaze. I started to feel a bit of regret as the adrenaline started to wear off. As dumb as these people had been to go logging where they did, I had probably thought too harshly of them. Not like we put a sign out or anything. I gave my boss a call. She answered on the first ring, always a good sign.
Smith, how'd it go?
Good. Got 2 more before they could crack open. Just a couple of dummies who went logging in the national park. The guy on the phone mentioned our man with the curly hair at the local bar. We got any leads on where he might be now?
None so far. Ditch the sheriff's gear and come on back. You did good today.
I thanked her and hung up. I lifted my hand from where it had been resting on the wood beneath me. Black specks disappeared beneath the skin as I watched. I looked down at the woodpile. Smooth black cords, devoid of any of the knots that a real tree would have. Now completely hollow inside. The last of the brood had found a host. Thank you for listening. You can probably handle another horror story, right?